So what role do people in positions of power and privilege play in promoting social justice, and how can they use their influence to affect change?
Again, here's an opportunity for people to have an incredible impact. If you are in a position of privilege, you can step aside. You can share that privilege with someone else, right? You can say, I'm going to pass the mic to you. Or you can, if you're in a meeting with someone and you are in a position of privilege, whether it's because of your race, whether it's because of your length of time in your organization, whatever it is, you can choose to have someone with less privilege by your side and make sure that they're part of the conversation. There are so many ways that you can just stop centering yourself. And there are all sorts of privilege. I mean, I walk through the world with a fair amount of privilege myself, even though I also have the challenges of being Black and female in this society. But I'm educated and I'm middle class, and and I know how to advocate for myself. So those are all privileges that I come into a room with that someone else may not have. So my choice to say, I'm going to sit next to the person who looks most uncomfortable in this circumstance, can sort of, some of my privilege can kind of rub off on them a little bit and create some space for them that they might not otherwise have.
That's a really great way to put that, to just kind of be in the space and support somebody.
One of the things that I think is really important to understand is that we live in a society where so much of how it's structured is based on relationship, who you know, the school you went to, and all of the structures in there that can support you going out into the world. But if you are in the position of having a marginalized identity where those structures are not part of the culture in the same way, then you walk into the dominant culture and you're at a huge disadvantage because you don't have all of those underpinnings to your life. And so those of us who have more of those can share them and bring other people in. Basically you're bringing someone to the party, right? You're just saying, here's how this goes. Let me introduce you to so-and-so. Let me tell them about who you are. Let me tell you about who they are, and make a connection in a way that they otherwise wouldn't have access to. And so that really matters, because they could be this incredibly brilliant person who just doesn't have this particular set of tools in their tool belt because it doesn't exist for them. It doesn't exist in the community that they've grown up in. It doesn't exist in the community they currently work in. And so sharing what we have, sharing our blessings, honestly, is a huge thing, and it doesn't take very much.
Funny, when you talk about all this, I'm trying to process it, like I'm trying to solve world's problems right now, it seems almost. And
you let me know how that works out for you.
And I almost did this project, and I really came close to it. I think I still might think about it, doing a documentary on conflict. And I did a lot of research on what causes conflict, and I kept narrowing it down, finding the root, and it kind of narrowed it down to self-preservation, survival instinct, and then how that affects is like I learned that there's you, but then there's your children, your family, your neighborhood, your community, your town, your county. It goes, and depending on who's against you, like whether it's whatever it is, you kind of group up, and it goes out to country, and it goes to borders, and it's all about self-preservation and taking as much as you can and telling the others to stay away because they might do something wrong to your whatever level community you're at. I mean, and I'm like, how do you stop that? And I thought, and then I saw you have, is that Buddha?
Mhm.
I thought to myself, that would be a really wonderful way if everybody thought of life like Buddhism. So yeah, could you solve the world's problems? I just laid it out for
Sure,
you.
no problem.
How do we do that?
Yeah, hang on. I think that though, the thing that you said there, Jason, that I think is really the important piece is that piece about the concentric circles of there's me, then there's my family, then there's my extended family, then there's my community. And I think that, and this is what the Buddha is all about, is everyone's your family.
Yeah.
Every living thing is part of your family. You are not separate from anything. So there is actually no need to feel a threat, because if we looked on everyone as our family,
Yep.
we'd be like, yeah, I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
And most of us in the world, and I'm speaking of the entire population of humanity, we want the same things. How we want to get there is different, but the basics that we want are absolutely the same. And we spend so much time focused on the differences, which are really differences of the path, not the goal. We want our children to be healthy and happy and have productive lives. We want to be healthy. We want to not have to worry about how we're going to survive in our old age. I mean, we all want those things. And yet we will fracture around how. Really, we're going to get into a fight about how when the what is the same? It makes no sense.